Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another chatting episode of Blast from the Past Reviews. This audio's coming through weird on my headphones. I think I just need to get new ones. These things are cheap and crappy, but nonetheless, how's it going, everybody? Sorry about having to cancel the movie review. Megan and I will not be reviewing Ernest Goes to Jail tonight because Megan can't make it tonight. She's dealing with some technical difficulties with her internet, which makes it kind of hard to do a stream. So we're just going to push that off till next week, and it'll be even better because we'll have more time to procrastinate on preparing. Let me start off by saying hi to everybody here. We got a Steven Ransom. How's it going? Glad to have you here. And a Robert Lowry. Glad you could join us at the beginning. I know you've been busy lately, but glad you could join us here right at the beginning. And Achilles Jones. Hello, I see the usual suspects. Yes, how is it going, everybody? So we're just going to pull up a couple of, in a small-time Republic, hail. We're just going to chat about a couple of things. Got a few articles here pulled up that I just found like 10 minutes ago. So this seems a little half-baked. My bad. I could have spent a little bit more time prepping on this, but I didn't. I have no excuse. But nonetheless, we're going to have a good time. We're going to go over some current pop culture news. But first off, starting off with you guys. So I was just discussing this with the lady recently and how the British always say that we Americans don't understand irony, and I think that's not entirely true. I think we're just incapable of intentionally doing irony. I think unintentionally we're able to do it. And I think I have an excellent example here for everybody. Right there, a Rage Against the Machine face mask. Now, for people out there who wear face masks, whatever you do you, I have found them to be kind of silly. Myself, there was like a short period of time when I wore them, and then I just kind of said, screw it, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, still back in 2020, like only a couple of months into this thing, I just said, fuck it, I'm not doing it. But this, it was too perfect. I saw a meme, Snowdub had shared a meme of Tom Morello at a concert wearing a mask, and it was 1995, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. 2023, fuck yeah, I will do what you tell me. And I couldn't help but I was trying to look it up to see if there was a real image of Tom Morello wearing a mask at a concert, and so I tried looking up Rage Against the Machine masks, and I found these, and there's quite a few of them out there actually, and they're all just hilarious. The irony is so perfect of it. The message used to be literally fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, and now it's comply. It's like They Live. Like, these are the subliminal messages from They Live. It's Rage Against the Machine, but really it's obey, comply, procreate, all of those things. And we're getting to the point where like They Live is really, I mean, it was supposed to be a not a metaphor, but I'm just gonna say metaphor because I can't think of the proper term for it, but it was supposed to be sort of a facsimile, I might say, for government subliminal messaging and authoritarianism and all of that with They Live. And we're now getting to the point where that's basically what they're doing. It's, look at this shit, look at it. I got another one here. I got another one. Look at this. Oh my god, a Battle of Los Angeles. Jeez. It's too good. Calm like a bomb with the heart grenade and everything. How do they not realize what they're doing here? How does this go over their heads? Small Time says it's like D. Snyder going from we're not gonna take it to we're gonna take it. I actually watched Razor Fist at the Rageaholic. I watched his video from like a year ago, but I watched that today at work because I'll listen to people shit talk D. Snyder anytime. I was never a big Twisted Sister fan in the first place, but I always found it kind of annoying that D. Snyder had taken all of the credit for I can never remember the acronym for the hearings because government acronyms are fucking stupid. But I can never remember the acronym for the early the late 80s, early 90s government hearings when they were trying to censor music, and wound up putting the explicit content label on there that actually wound up helping record sales. But when Dee Snider went to those hearings, and everyone hailed him as the star of that day for so long, when in reality, if you watch what he said, really what he said wasn't all that important to the hearings as a whole, or wasn't very impactful as far as society goes. It's just that after the fact, he took a lot of credit for things that other people did that were even more impactful, and the real star of that day was Frank Zappa. And what Frank Zappa lays out at those hearings was absolutely beautiful. It was a true, it was really trying to dig into the authoritarianism and the censorship and the attack on the First Amendment that the government was trying to go for there. And he dismantles the crap out of the entire hearing very eloquently. And unfortunately, it was just after the fact, because of how the news media works and how rumors and talking works, and, people basically playing the telephone game back then to move information from place to place. Dee Snider somehow became the star of that day, when really a lot of other people were much more impactful. If you've never seen the video of Frank Zappa at the PMRC hearings, if you've never seen the Frank Zappa at the PMRC hearings, 110% go and watch it. It's amazing to hear what he's saying there, because you kind of expect him to show up and just be goofy and silly and try and take the piss out of the government officials he's standing in front of. I believe it was a House committee. And no, he shows up in a suit, is eloquent the entire time. He's very measured and even in his speech. His verbal attacks on them are pure poetry. It's amazing. And this is coming from the guy that wrote Don't Eat the Yellow Snow. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Let's see. Stephen Ransom says, lol, irony. USA lives in irony all day. That's why it's so hard to see in real time. Yes, we're just edging ever so closer and closer to idiocracy. That is the unfortunate truth. He was just there to grandstand and promote. Yeah, that's basically been Dee Snider the whole time, unfortunately. Spread it for the gov, yo. Yeah, that is Rage Against the Machine these days. To be fair, at least in public statements, Tom Morello, and I've never been a Rage Against the Machine fan, just to be clear. Like, I had Battle of Los Angeles and Evil Empire, but everybody had those albums in the 90s. There wasn't a record and tape traders you could walk into that didn't have the first thing you were going to see be the Evil Empire poster. It was freaking everywhere. So everybody had that, at least that album. I also had Battle of Los Angeles, and I think they're self-titled. I listened to them a bit, but I kind of grew out of them a bit early on. But yeah, to give a bit of credit to Tom Morello, despite some of the just absolutely dumb fucking takes he's had recently, I do believe, now I haven't done full research on this, but I do believe the whole people being forced to take the vaccine before going to his concerts, from what I understand, Rage Against the Machine, to their credit, did actually cancel shows at venues that were requiring vaccines. They weren't going to make people do that. But nonetheless, a lot of their other public statements have been, room temperature dull. It's just bad, stupid takes of, yes, we should definitely support the lockdowns. Like, what are you talking about, Tom Morello? Jeez. Frank Zappa was a national treasure. His catalog is an amazing journey of discovery. If you haven't, he is a must listen. I actually quite like Frank Zappa. I had a buddy in high school who was a much bigger fan than I was, but nonetheless, I grew up listening to like Dr. Demento, the old albums. He wasn't really on the radio when I was a kid anymore, but Frank Zappa was featured heavily in Dr. Demento. I think I took probably what the standard journey was for most people, starting from Weird Al, particularly in the, throughout the 80s and 90s. You kind of start with Weird Al and then you ease into some of the weirder stuff, eventually coming to like Captain Beefheart and being like, it's a little bit too weird for me. At least that was my journey. But no, Frank Zappa is amazing. I think some of his lesser known songs are also really good to listen to. Some of his instrumentals, "Peaches on Regalia" is an excellent song of his. My favorite of his, another lesser known treasure in my opinion, is "Camarillo Brillo." I love Camarillo Brillo. The brass notes in that song toward the middle and the end are just perfect. It is musically it's one of those songs that it gives you the feels when you listen to it. It has that emotional hit that is so enjoyable, but it's also just a little bit silly. It's a song about meeting a hippie chick outside of her weird incense-filled apartment and then going and banging her on the floor after she strips away her rancid poncho. And how many songs out there have songs like "She stripped away her rancid poncho and laid out by the door"? It's great. It is a great one. Frank Zappa was a musician. Okay, Achilles Jones. With that being said, the friend of mine who is a huge Frank Zappa fan, Juan, he was a musician in a family of musicians. I played music too, but I was never as good as Juan. I played in middle school and high school trombone. Juan played, I mean, he lived on his guitar. Like, you go over to his house, he was playing guitar. And he was great at it. He also played bass, but it wasn't enjoyable for him. He just wanted to know how to properly play a bass since he played guitar. He started off with the flute. He played piano. He was pretty good at piano, but he didn't spend quite as much time on it. So he was better with flute and guitar. Those were his two big ones. And he also played the oboe. So yeah, I mean, dude played a lot of different instruments. He was a musician. He also sang. He had a wonderful singing voice. And he was like 5'4", so he could do like soprano notes as a dude, which is quite coveted for singers. Let's see. His Orchestra of Misfits produce actual music. Yes, that is true. The Mothers of Invention, as they are known. Frank Zappa's good stuff. If that's anyone out there watching this, if you've never given Frank Zappa a good listen to, sit down, grab one of his albums, and actually go like top to bottom on one of his albums. You're going to find at least a handful of songs that you like. Some of them might be just a little bit too weird. What is the one I am thinking of? Let's see. I'm trying to remember the name of the album here. Overnight Sensation. That's a solid one. You'll probably enjoy if you give it a top to bottom listen to. It starts off with, like I said, my favorite song, Camarillo Brillo. Keeps it up pretty well throughout, though. Solid one. And of course, yeah, Don't You Eat That Yellow Snow, and listen to the extended version of Don't Eat That Yellow Snow. It is a crowd favorite. I do quite enjoy that one. But enough about Frank Zappa for now. Maybe we'll come back to that. Let me pull up an article here. What do we have? Okay, we talked a little bit about this the other day. Can I make this a little bit bigger? That backfired. Okay, I think that's about as good as it gets. So yes, Daredevil is going to Disney Plus, which I'm not looking forward to it. I'm probably just not going to watch it. But if shit talking the show can get other people to not watch it and it has shit ratings, maybe that will eventually go through, and the new CEO of Disney hopefully is actually paying attention to what is working and what is not. Now, what I truly hope happens with Daredevil on Disney Plus is a little bit of what happened with Daredevil Season 3, which is that they did kind of lean into modern day politics a good bit with season 3. It was, I mean, like the Kingpin outside of the hotel giving his big speech was essentially a Trump speech. That was them doing their version of aping a Trump speech. And it was a little bit cringe, but Vincent D'Onofrio's masterful performance pulls the whole thing together and makes it, well, definitely worth watching. And I'm hoping we get some of that with Daredevil Born Again on Disney Plus. And you know what? I think I know why my headphones were sounding weird. No, I had them on backwards. They're just sounding weird. It's not that they were on backwards. But Vincent D'Onofrio admits that Daredevil Born Again is going to be very different than the Netflix show, which probably isn't a good thing because the Netflix show was amazing. Actor Vincent D'Onofrio will return to his role as Kingpin, which he portrayed in the Marvel TV and Netflix's Daredevil series and reprised in Hawkeye in the upcoming Daredevil Born Again series on Disney Plus. He was in the new Hawkeye? Okay, so that's what these pictures are from. I thought they were going to put, Hawkeye's daughter, whatever her name is, I think also Hawkeye, which is just stupid. Like, at least give him a different name. So, is that what it's saying here? That, yeah, okay, so he was in Hawkeye. And look, they have him in the, the iconic Hawaiian shirt, white suit, which Vincent D'Onofrio is freaking rocking there. But, we'll see how it turns out with the writing on this. D'Onofrio spoke about the series, which is currently filming, to Newsweek, revealing the series will be different from the Netflix series. You said that in the beginning. Don't say it again. We've only started shooting. I think we're a couple weeks in, and the show is going to be very, very different than the Netflix show. And it's so exciting because what we are doing is quite something. Wow. I'm having reading difficulties. I'm not even dyslexic. I'm just that dumb. Yeah, anytime they have to say something like, oh, it's so much different than what there was before, probably not a good sign overall. I mean, 1, this being on Disney Plus is a bad sign. 2, this being very, very different when you've had 3 friggin' knockout great seasons on the show. Just not looking good. I don't like the trajectory here. I think it's something that people are not going to expect, he elaborated, but always with these Marvel old comic stories that are being revisited and reinvented by us actors and the writers, the main thing is to answer the fans, which is a good response, but that's like boilerplate what you're supposed to say to interviewers from for the past 80 freaking years. It's just recently that they're saying we're subverting expectations. That's a recent thing, and Vincent D'Onofrio's been making movies since the early 80s, so obviously he's going to say the boilerplate thing, even though it is good to hear an actor say we're just trying to do what the fans like. He's just saying what he knows to say. D'Onofrio continued to explain to give them what they want, but try to be original in some way at the same time. And so that's what we're doing on the show. It's definitely an original way to look at this, and it's really deep, really emotional. I mean, to be fair, the first 3 seasons of Daredevil were really deep and emotional, but I don't think they've brought on the same writers. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's a completely different writing staff. If they had just rehired everybody for the first 3 seasons and made Daredevil Born Again, that would be cool. It's just going to be on a different platform now. But there's no way that the current managers at Disney are going to just let this be its own thing and hope it all turns out well. Even though that's how Disney Plus started out, is we're going to hire good creators and let them do their own thing. And it turned out pretty well with Mandalorian Season 1, but it didn't take long for the Disney Plus shows to start becoming crap. It really took a short amount of time, and it's been quite unfortunate. I think the last original Marvel show that I tried to watch was Moon Knight, and I couldn't get into it. I tried. I really like Oscar Isaac. I think he's a great actor. He was really good in Ex Machina. I thought he was really good as Duke Leto Atreides in the new Dune, even though I have my own very petty issues with the new Dune movie. I thought it was overall pretty damn good. And I thought that Oscar Isaac was great in that. He just wasn't good in Moon Knight, and I don't think it was entirely his fault. I think it was just poor writing. The really bad CGI is what killed it. Oh man, they're gonna have crap CGI in the new Daredevil series. I just know they are. Why wouldn't they? Everything else they've had has really shitty CGI. Oh man. And in a series that stayed away from that and tried to go with practical effects where applicable previously, seasons 1 through 3, practical effects as often as possible. I mean, when you have to do CGI, you have to do CGI. I totally dig that. And if it's done well, it can be good. But it's going to have really shitty looking stuff in there. And it's not going to work. Ugh. I don't want to go full Eric July and say, like, it's going to be dead on arrival. How do you like my Eric July impression? I hope it was as racist as possible. Yeah, I don't want to go full Ripa on this and just say it's dead on arrival. But yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be. Let's see. However, before they got a second season, D'Onofrio indicated they will be filming all the way up until December. He relayed, "It's hard work. We have a lot of episodes to shoot. We've got a long road ahead. We won't be finished until, and it's quite a commitment. But this character is just, I love playing him," which I honestly think D'Onofrio does enjoy playing Kingpin because he's put so much effort and work into the role, and you know he has because it shows. It freaking shows. Let's see. Wilson Fisk meets his end at the hands of Echo in Hawkeye season 1 episode 6. So this is Christmas. Who's Echo? I keep hearing about this thing, and what? I don't. Is Echo the deaf version of Daredevil? Like, is deaf, but their power is that they can hear, kind of like Daredevil's a blind guy whose superpowers he can see. I don't think it works. I don't know. I don't know anything about the character, so I could be entirely wrong. Daredevil has a stupid freaking concept in that he's a blind guy whose superpower can see, but when you mix the fact that it's noir 70s kung fu films and a courtroom drama all mixed up in one, it freaking works, and it winds up being really good. So yeah, maybe Echo will work, but I don't know what the character's about. I just have a feeling it won't. D'Onofrio's comments on Echo, D'Onofrio's comments echo what Daredevil's Matt Murdock has repeatedly said about the series back in 2022 at the D23 Expo in Anaheim, California. He told Extra TV, "I don't know anything. I haven't seen a script." He went on to add, "My feeling is, based on the title Born Again, I think that the sense is a new beginning. It is going to be different. It is going to be tonally different. It is going to be new stories and new ideas. And like Kevin Feige said, it is a season 1, not a season 4, so it's a whole new thing, which I think is the right way to go. If you're going to do it, let's do it differently." I disagree with that statement entirely, but, you're an actor. You're working on a thing. You want it to do well. You want it to sell. You want to keep playing the role that you enjoy playing. You say what you're supposed to. And I don't fault Vincent D'Onofrio for that. But no, it's what they were doing worked. Why would you change it? Don't fix what's broken. Or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let me just flip my metaphors back around so that they work properly. No, I don't like it. Daredevil, the last thing Daredevil needs is to be tonally different. It's dark, it's grim, it's gritty. It's this, street level hero who has to balance the idea of being a vigilante and being a lawyer at the same time. Very interesting character right there. But like I said before, then you mix in kung fu and noir, and it's just good stuff. And also the character's internal dichotomy of his, very deep religious fervency almost, versus wanting to go out and beat the shit out of bad people. So you get this really interesting character mixed in there, and making it tonally different is a bad idea. What is it going to be, lighthearted and goofy? A lighthearted and goofy Daredevil? That's fucking retarded. Why would you do that? It's I think my cats were fighting with each other. Who knows? Here, let's catch up with the chat here. Let's see. Small Time Republic says, not sure if it's true, but I've heard they have to alter Daredevil some in order to avoid paying Netflix. I don't think so. I mean, I can see that rumor getting spread around, but I'm pretty sure that Disney just the rights reverted back to Disney solely after a certain amount of time. They had leased the rights for Netflix to make the the Defenders series, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, which at least season 1 was also really good too. Luke Cage, also season 1, the only one I've seen, pretty damn good. I enjoyed the heck out of Luke Cage season 1. Had like this blaxploitation feel to it that I thought was really well done. Who was the other one? Iron Fist. Yeah, no one really cared about Iron Fist. And The Punisher. I've also never been a big Punisher fan. Like, I don't know, it's just me. Yeah, he's a perfectly fine character. He's an interesting character too. Just was never really my thing for some reason. I don't know, maybe I haven't given it a proper shrift. Very different from good is usually bad. Exactly. That sounds right. Small Time Republic. That point is a real answer to all of the changes in current media. They get paid by the word. Lol. This article needs more varies. Yeah. To be fair, that was D'Onofrio saying very multiple times. But yeah, have they not seen Dead Poets Society? Don't say very. You know, it's bust out a thesaurus once in a while. And in my very small things that I write up, essays here and there, I bust out a thesaurus. If you go through my search history, which please don't, FBI, go through my search history, you're going to see a lot of just like random words with synonym behind it. Nobody does that anymore, though. It's unfortunate. Granted, who actually reads articles these days? So, this is an old people thing to do. Forgot to read that one. Vincent D'Onofrio was amazing on Netflix's Kingpin. Oh yeah, he was perfect for that role. He was amazing. And really, they had just a solid cast all around for particularly season 1 of Daredevil. I can't remember his name. Henson something or other as Foggy, Deborah Ann Woll as Karen, kicked ass, and Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock. Oh, just so good. So damn good there. They were amazing actors who were able to make the 3rd season and its rather cringy at times script work because they kicked ass in those performances. And it's honestly just sad to see. I mean, it's just another brick in the wall, as Pink Floyd would say. It's just another one of a great show that's being destroyed by modern writing. We're just seeing it again. And you know what? This is nothing new for me. I'm a Star Trek fan. So what was it, 2009 when J.J. Abrams came out with his Star Trek film 14 freaking years ago that I went to theaters and saw that crap. So, it's just another one. It's been Star Trek, Star Wars, the comics as a whole, which I was never a big fan of comic books anyway, so I can't say much on that. But I've heard a lot of people say they've gone downhill, and I've seen evidence of it. What else has gone to crap? I'm really, really trepidatious about the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender show that's coming out. I feel like they knocked it out of the park with the original, and I'm worried to see where it goes from there. Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power. I forgot about that one. I didn't even watch it. I was part of the no hate watching bandwagon for Rings of Power, and I hope it did crap. A lot of things that have just gone downhill, unfortunately. But I still hold out hope. I am still an optimist in the line of fandoms and in nerd culture. We're still in the very early stages of a new wave of indie creators coming up and being able to create their own things. And we're seeing it happen in what is closer to print media first. It's going to take more time to get more people into other sort of things. But really, we've seen print media with comic books and novels and all sorts of things are growing. Tabletop games have a big third party and independent creator base out there. I mean, you've had indie movies for a long time, but I don't think they've had their chance to come into prominence. And I think part of that is that indie movies have a stigma of being where the artists like to go and make their very, ooh, look at me, I'm so clever, sort of artsy-fartsy films. And that's kind of marred indie film as a whole. And I don't think that is going to change anytime soon, but it might. And I really hope it does. So we're seeing a new wave of creators come in, and I'm hoping that they can sort of build upon each other and just create once again, I'm going to say something that Rip has said before, but a parallel economy. It doesn't have to be as big. It doesn't have to actually compete with the big producers out there. We can just make our own stuff and enjoy it on our own, which is fine. I'm totally cool with that. I've even heard that Pulp has been coming back a bit, and I love Pulp. I really hope it does come back in its own way. I would love for Swords and Sorcery to make a full comeback. I would be so happy for that. Well, let's see. Oh, we got a couple more here. Since Disney owns Marvel, I have no idea if there is any merit to what I heard. Having to alter it. Yeah, I don't know. It seems odd because I'm pretty sure it was specifically that Netflix leased the rights to be able to use them, and they had a limited time period, and that's why they were kind of cranking them out really quickly. And I gotta say, for as quick as they came, well, how I believe it worked is they did it was sort of a soft test with season 1 of Daredevil, which became a huge hit. And so that's when they started really cranking them out. And unfortunately, the quality of the shows did suffer because of that over time. But, good effort on them for trying to do what they did and having the Netflix Marvel universe, or whatever you could call it. So, hey, there's that. Robert Lowry says, too small time Republic. I misread your name as Small Tit, lol. Small Tit Republic, yes. I'm going to be on my own Republic over there, but we can trade, Small Tit Republic. We can trade with each other. You got all the small titty chicks. I want all the big titty chicks. We're good. We'll trade. It's all good. The 30% rule of difference seems a defining element in many of these abominations. Don't remember the specifics of the character. There are many echoes. The comic one is different from the live action. They can mimic another's skill set by looking. Okay, I get it. Echo. That's the dude from Heroes who could, he saw somebody use their power and he could mimic. He could, saw his brother fly and then he was able to fly. Saw the dude do the laser eyes and he was able to do the laser eyes. Man, talk about another show that went to crap. Heroes. They were like the vanguard of shows turning to shit. Not entirely their fault. They unfortunately got hit by the writer's strike, but it was a sad one. Avatar: The Last Airbender was such an amazing piece of Western animation. This live action needs to be god tier out of the gate, but the why of making it still boggles the mind. Yes, it does. It's just I doubt they're going to be able to pull it off. Now, I don't think it's going to be as bad or as cringe as M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dongs at, The Last Airbender movie, which I went to see in theaters. I paid green money to see that movie opening day, and wow, was it shit. Ooh, that one was bad. I don't think it's going to hit right. And I guess the idea in making this, like most remakes, is you want to make it for a younger audience to be able to enjoy it, which in many times has worked out well. There have been plenty of stories that are just retold over and over again, but in a new way. I mean, you have Magnificent Seven, Seven Samurai, Tombstone. All of these it's the same story told over and over again. But they're good. They're good. But yeah, I don't know. It's not going to hold up. They're making it for a younger audience to be able to enjoy, but it's not going to stand up if the original fans don't like it, because we're still around. We're still watching stuff. None of us who grew up in the 90s and enjoyed, or 90s to early 2000s and enjoyed Avatar: The Last Airbender have stopped enjoying the show. We're all still avid fans. So it's not going to hold up, in my opinion. I would love for it to be as good, but even if it were a 1-to-1 remake, then you have the question, like you say there, why are they making it? If it's a direct remake of it, it won't have a purpose. If they're trying to make it for modern audiences, well, the idea of what the modern audience likes is so baffling these days that it's once again going to wind up being shit. So we'll see. That's not a fair trade, says Small Time Republic. No, it's I mean, hey, that's where you wound up. You can't help it. You got you are the overseeing chairman of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Look, that's not a problem. We'll, I'll have some apples, you'll have some oranges. We'll trade apples for oranges. It's all good. My Republic would be like the one Kenny hallucinated in South Park. Major boobage, yes. It would be a miracle, even if it's a watchable. Avatar Explained will have plenty of content, though. YouTubers will rip it to shreds. Yeah, Avatar Explained. Overanalyzing Avatar, because if that's who you're talking about, I love that dude's channel. I don't want to say I was like one of the first people to figure him out, but I remember I was subscriber 712 on Overanalyzing Avatar. It was right after Rasputin put his video out on all of these like lesser known YouTube channels that he really enjoyed. And so, yeah, I was sub 1,000 on Overanalyzing Avatar. And it's been really good to see him reach where he is, but it is also unfortunate that when he ran out of content for Avatar: The Last Airbender, that, I mean, his channel's kind of died off a little bit, especially with the following, but damn, if you are an Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, you have to watch Overanalyzing Avatar. Watch from the beginning to the end of his over-analysis of the series. It is fantastic. This dude is so good at just what he does. He manages to just dive really deep into these episodes in a very interesting and irreverent way. And he has a very, it seems almost like stream of consciousness with how he presents it, but it's all very well done with very solid editing. So definitely check him out. Yeah, see, that's who you're talking about. Yes, Overanalyzing Avatar, not to be a hipster about it, but I knew about Overanalyzing Avatar before it was cool. Let's see, Beavis had a dream like that too. Yes, the Boob Republic. I would go hang out in the Boob Republic, definitely. Had a couple of other things here. Yes. Here's one. Let me get it pulled up over here. Also, give me a second to drink some coffee and some water. I'm starting to get some cotton mouth from my stream of consciousness that I've had for the past 40 minutes. Okay, yes, I'll own that one, Steven. You got me. I have the hipster got beard, so yeah, well, I liked Overanalyzing Avatar before it was cool. I just remember I was subscriber 712, and like I had watched one episode of it, and I was like, this guy's gonna do well, and so I subscribed. I was like, he had already put out, I think, like 8 or 10 episodes, and you can see him slowly getting better. And I mean, by the time you're through season 1, he's really got his formula down. He's got his editing proper. It's good stuff. So I click that subscribe button, and I hold on to that achievement of being there at the beginning for him. And some water. All right, here we go. So I am an X-Files fan. I'm not like a huge X-Files fan or anything, but I've watched the show more than once. I liked the first movie, which is unofficially known as Fight the Future. Second movie wasn't very good, and I even liked some, not all, but some of the reboot they did with seasons 10 and 11, where they, brought back Scully and Mulder. And some of them were pretty solid episodes. The one where they don't talk at all and they go into like the fully automated restaurant and have like this AI battle with them, I thought that was conceptually a very good episode, very interesting episode. And it's one of those that like you can stop and think about after watching it. Very, very solid one there. There were a couple others that weren't as good. When they just got back to doing some Monster of the Week content, most of it was pretty good. The getting back into the whole conspiracy story with it, like, it's kind of hard to do when we've known what the X-Files conspiracy is. Of spoiler alerts for anyone who hasn't watched X-Files, but I'm kind of putting this one on you. The show literally came out like 30 years ago. But the whole colonization thing, like, we're well past that. You can't just hop right back into it. But X-Files reboot featuring a diverse cast reportedly in development from Black Panther series director Ryan Coogler. He also did another movie that I want to say was pretty good. I mean, Black Panther was pretty good, but it wasn't like, I don't know. When I watched it, I was like, it's another superhero movie. I was neither offended nor wowed by it personally. It's also a character I didn't really know anything about, but it was well done for a spectacle film. But the immediate thing, the reason why I picked this article is because they have to add that a diverse cast into the X-Files, and anyone who's watched the X-Files know that they had a fairly diverse cast outside of Mulder and Scully. But they I guess they didn't have it on the two main characters kind of deal, but who cares? They were diverse in thought. They were two very different people with different ideas. They were both really good investigators and had their strengths and their weaknesses, and they had quirks to their characters. And it worked really well, particularly for like the first 5 to 6 seasons. It worked pretty well. And then part of the problem was, all right, sorry, going off on a slight X-Files rant here. I will finish this soon and get to the actual article. Part of the problem with the X-Files, particularly in the later seasons, is that the creator of the show didn't want to continue making the show. When the first movie, Fight the Future, came out, that was supposed to be the end of the X-Files TV series, and he wanted to make a series of films in which he wrapped up the conspiracy in. And he didn't want to make like huge major blockbuster films. He wanted them to be successful, but he was hoping to get more of the VHS, or at that point in time, DVDs were a thing and they were starting to pick up. He was hoping to get more of the cult fandom DVD sales crowd. But because the movie did really well, the first one at least, basically the studio pulled him back in to keep making the show, and he put a lot of effort into it for season 6 especially. Season 7, a good amount of work into it, but by the time you get to seasons 8 and 9, dude's phoning it in, and you can tell. But they had a diverse cast starting off, so I don't know why they have to point it out. That is a red flag to me, right there. Right into the article, though. It seems the X-Files will be the next beloved and classic IP to be updated for modern audiences, as a more diverse reboot of the series is reportedly in the works from Black Panther series director Ryan Coogler. Oh, I also thought this was funny in that was season 1. Season 10, yeah, you had the basically new versions of Scully and Mulder there, and she, the young redhead, she's the conspiracy theorist, and the Mulder allegory here, the Mulder doppelganger. He's the hard stance scientist, the objectivist even. Let's see. News of the reboot's existence was first revealed by the series' original creator Chris Carter during an appearance on the March 27th episode of Canadian Broadcasting Corporation's Vancouver-centric news podcast On the Coast with Gloria Macharenko. I ain't saying that. That's have a simpler name, person. As someone with a complicated last name, simplify that shit. Stopping by the show in commemoration of the 30th anniversary of the X-Files' first day shooting in Vancouver, where it would film up until its 5th season, at which time the series took a temporary move to Los Angeles before ultimately returning north for its 2 revival seasons. Like I said, the 2 revival seasons, not the worst. Not the worst. Some good episodes, some, episodes, and a couple of bad ones. If you're a fan, it's worth watching. Carter was asked by Masarenko, how would you make it now in the current day? How would the X-Files be different, do you think? To which the creator asserted, oh gosh, we're so steeped in conspiracies now. Ugh. Really, dude? Really, that's where you're gonna go? Okay, here's how it's gonna work for this. I'm gonna make the prediction and we'll see if I'm right. Go ahead and set the $5 down and see if it accrues interest. It's going to be Mulder listening to Alex Jones at some point in time, and he's going to be agreeing with him on some things and then going, no, they're not interdimensional. It's actual aliens from another planet. Wait, no, maybe they are interdimensional. That's what it's going to be. The X-Files dealt with central conspiracy, but now the world is so full of conspiracies that I think it would be a different show, he added. Yeah, how could like modern Hollywood creators even make a Big Brother government conspiracy story like they did for the X-Files? Like, that's the whole point of it, is you take, cryptozoology and mix it with, shadow government Big Brother conspiracies, and you wind up with this. And it wouldn't work these days with the message, as the drinker would say, the message that has to go out there, because the message is part of the propaganda swing that they're making at us. They're constantly having to tie it into everything. So how could you have a character like Mulder sticking up for the message? To that end, with his memory seemingly jogged by Masarenko's hypothetical question, Carter then revealed, actually, I just spoke to a young man, Ryan Coogler, who is going to remount the X-Files with a diverse cast. Alright, just to make this clear, I don't have a problem with a diverse cast being in shows, but the problem is that whenever they have to say something like it's going to be a diverse cast, the showrunners and the writers basically have the expectation that if I say buzzword, it will result in a stronger product. I don't actually have to do any of the work to make it good. I can just say, we're making this diverse, and then put out a really shit project. And if people try to lambast it or just criticize it, not even lambast, criticize, actively, critically think, and critique the work itself. I'm going to come up with some other synonym for criticize. But doing that now makes you racist, phobic, as Clownfish would say, an istophobe. So he's got his work cut out for him because we've covered so much territory, as he concluded. As of writing outside of the reboot's general existence in the Black Panther duology's director involvement therein, no further details regarding the X-Files' potential future have been made public. Further, it is unknown whether Coogler has any plans, depending on whether or not whether or not his vision is a full-on reboot or simply a soft one to bring David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson's Scully and Mulder back to the paranormal fold. Like, they've been there, they've done that. In fact, I think Gillian Anderson has even said, yeah, there it is. Asked by Variety in early 2022 if she had any interest in returning the franchise, Anderson admitted, "It just feels like such an old idea. I've done it. I did it for so many years and also ended on such an unfortunate note," she added, referencing the season 11 finale reveal that Scully was mysteriously pregnant with her and Mulder's child. Yeah. Well, I hope that was nothing bad. Yeah, it's... I just don't see them doing a good rendition of it. It's... Why don't showrunners just do what they've been doing for freaking decades that worked out oh so well for so long, of do the creative blender. Ape other people's ideas. You can steal ideas from other people and twist them into a way that will become unique. I mean, just do that. Look at Gravity Falls, which was an excellent Disney show from back in 2013, I believe, is when it came out. I love Gravity Falls, even though I don't like the Cal Arts style. I think that they actually made it work for that show because there's a lot of additional detail in there that you don't tend to see on other Cal Arts shows, in my opinion. But Gravity Falls is basically Twin Peaks and X-Files, and like mix that in with some Saturday morning cartoons. That's Gravity Falls for you, and it's good stuff. I really enjoyed the heck out of it. In order to even begin to have that conversation about another season, there would need to be a whole new set of writers, and the baton would need to be handed on for it to feel like it was new and progressive, she ultimately declared. So yeah, it's very much in the past. Yeah, it has to be new and progressive. Not everything has to be new and progressive. Sometimes it's nice to rehash old ideas. Sometimes it's nice to bring something from the past, maybe modernize it a little bit and maybe even the language gets modernized a little bit. But particularly when you're aiming something towards nerds live off of nostalgia. Nerds, geeks, dorks, whatever you want to call us, we live off of nostalgia. We love the stuff. We want it to be old school, right? Like Star Wars. Part of what made Star Wars so good was that it's a space western. It was old ideas. The western was basically dead. It really was dead by the time that Star Wars came out. They kind of had their heyday in the 40s, 50s, and kind of started dying in the 60s. Now, they kept getting made throughout the 70s, but they weren't particularly good. But that's what Star Wars is. Space Western mixed with Flash Gordon and the serials, cliffhanger serials. That's what Star Wars is. Put all of that through the Joseph Campbell's Heroes of a Thousand Faces, hero's journey, and you've got Star Wars. And it's good, and it works. But you have to be able to appreciate and understand what happened in the past in order to appreciate what's going on here now. So it's just unfortunate that everything has to be new and progressive. And sometimes you can even add something new and progressive to something old and make it good. But damn, it's unfortunate to see. Now, I will say Gillian Anderson, as far as I know, is not a writer, is not a director. She's just an actress, and a damn good one at that. So that's that for you. Let's see. X-Files. The truth is out there. Yes. 30% different, I'll bet. UFO stuff is last century. History Channel is on cover-up duty. Yes. Mulder will say, aliens in the name of... Yeah. They need to stop resurrecting corpses for their new season lineup, necromancy. Yeah, it's just what they're doing, though. That's the new thing. Resurrect old show. And rebooting old ideas isn't a new thing. It's an old concept, but you would try and make it unique. You would try and make it into your own sort of thing. And I don't think anybody has the ambition to create their own thing in modern Hollywood. I think that's part of the problem. They just want to go out there and show everybody just how virtuous they are by doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. And it's tired and it's old and nobody cares anymore. And it's gotten to the point where even people whose career has been built upon just shit talking a lot of these franchises, they still put out the content, but they're leaning in other directions now. Even the people who like really love shit talking this stuff are leaning in opposite directions because they know even that is getting to be old hat. So, like I said, I'm still hopeful. We still get the occasional shining gem out there of a good show that releases that we can all enjoy. That kind of keeps us going for a few years. So, we'll see what's going on in the future. Heck, I'm trying to even think of what the last modern show that came out that I've enjoyed was. I have heard, have not watched yet, planning on watching it soon. I have heard that Yellow Jackets, at least the first season of Yellow Jackets, was pretty good. I know they just finished up with the second season, I believe. So we'll see. I've been meaning to give that a watch and see how it is. True, Ben-Hur was remade from the stage to screen to color spectacle to animated feature. Yeah, it's old ideas are constantly reused, and that's not a bad thing. There's a book I read for like AP literature when I was in high school that the theory behind this one guy's theory was that human beings haven't written an original story for like 2 millennia, basically. Since the time of Christ, we have not written an original story. We just take things that we've already heard, that we already know, that we know work and are engaging and people like, and we reform them in different ways. And sometimes that's a different format, sometimes that changes it into having deeper meaning in different areas, but we've basically been telling the same thing over and over and over again. So why run away from that? Why completely ignore the past when there's so much for you to pull from that you know works? Look at the things that didn't work and look at the things that did work and take what did work and make it your own. Transform it into something. Even things that are technically like original concepts still often lean in other ways. Think about the Disney show from the 90s, the animated show Gargoyles. It's a fairly original concept of you have these medieval gargoyles, these, stone by day, warriors at night, with Keith motherfucking David as the leader, Goliath, amongst these holy warriors, essentially. Take them and put them into modern day with some cyberpunk tie-ins there and a modern dingy city with Jonathan Frakes as Xanatos, the evil corporate bad guy. Cool show, original concept there, but some of the most notable episodes are when they're revisiting old ideas, like they bring in Macbeth as an antagonist, and it's actual like Macbeth from the play Macbeth, and then they do a whole episode about his origin, and it's basically just the Gargoyles version of Macbeth, and it's cool. It was good stuff. Or in a couple episodes, they straight up go back in time, and some of them are really good. So you can reuse old ideas and make them good, make them new. Part of what made season 1 of Mandalorian good was they just took the old adventure shorts and tried to make them in the Star Wars universe. You take the old Western pulp ideas and shorts from the movie serials and things like that, and you remake them. Grab some Dashiell Hammett Western books and turn that into Star Wars. There you go. It can be good. But no, everything has to be a perfectly original and unique idea. And you have to come at it from that. And you can't take an existing idea and turn it into something unique anymore. And it's just harmed the industry as a whole, unfortunately. Oh. Well, all right, everybody. I've been going for about an hour here. I would like to thank everyone for joining me here. Last comment here from Stephen Ransom. Respect is the only answer. That is part of the problem. There's no respect for existing things. It comes back a bit to the old adage of those who ignore history are doomed to repeat it. And with all of the censorship that's going on and the censorious nature that is within Hollywood, and that they're self-censoring essentially, it's kind of like the Hays Code reborn. And there were some really good movies that came out during the Hays Code that really like pushed the boundaries of what we're allowed in film. But once the code got dropped in the late 60s, really is when you finally get the Hays Code dropping. That's when we get this, complete renaissance of some of the best films of all time coming out in the 70s, because there's no more restrictions on them. The artists can be free. And so I think we're going to be seeing that again. I'm hoping that, we're about 8 years into this modern wokeness. We'll see how long it takes to, our own modern version of the Hays Code. We'll see how long it takes to turn around, but at some point in time, the dam is going to break. And I have a feeling we're going to have a new renaissance of just amazing films coming out. We're going to have the new and improved ideas that would have been, will be the modern ideas, similar to like Dirty Harry, The Exorcist. Horror films became their whole thing with the slasher genre getting started by Toby. And this is going to be a controversial take, but it's 100% true if you look into it. Toby Hooper started the slasher genre with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love John Carpenter. He's an amazing director, but he did not start the slasher with Halloween. There were several before him, and the most notable that really made the genre as a whole more notable, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Look up the dates and tell me I'm wrong. So I think we're going to have it again in the future. We're going to get a new wave of films coming out, but until that time, we have to go and find small creators that we enjoy, that we can support. At Last House on the Left, or I Spit on Your Grave. Dude, you could not make I Spit on Your Grave today. The original I Spit on Your Grave. I haven't seen the modern one that came out, I don't know, like 15 years ago or whatever. But the original, I think 1976 or something, I Spit on Your Grave, that movie could not be made today. So, but at some point in time, the dam is going to break, and there's going to be a new generation of creators who they're going to want to push what they're told they're not allowed to do. There's going to be a few generations of people who just, stand in line and rage on behalf of the machine, and, they have, they'll have their own version of this right here. There's going to be a few generations wearing crap like this, but the dam will break, and we're going to have people who are just wanting to be offensive, just wanting to push the boundaries, see what they can do, and they will make their way into the arts one way or another. People exist who are going to want to have their voices heard, and now is the easiest time to have your voice heard. Easier than ever. You can, do what I'm doing here. You can open up a stream and just start talking. It'll happen. It's just going to take some time. Well, I think that's what I got for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe mostly gentlemen today, but hey, we do have some lady viewers out there. I haven't looked at the statistics, but I'm sure there's at least one. But everybody, I hope you have an excellent weekend. I'm glad you could start it off with me here. Yes, thank you, Small Time Republic. Good stream. Next week, I'll be back with Megan. Hopefully her technical difficulties are fixed by then, and we'll do our review of Ernest Goes to Jail. And I think that's all I have for today. Thanks everybody for coming by. I actually enjoyed this stream quite a lot for basically not preparing at all and just going to bounding into comics and pulling up a few articles I thought were interesting and chatting about them for a while. So thank you everybody for joining me here. I will catch all of you guys next week. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Ords right now. I know he's kind of busy with having moved and everything, but keep an eye out for what he's got going on over at Ord's Board and Ord's World. I'm hoping we can get some Mario Kart going again, but I know the timing's been difficult for him. Nonetheless, I'm going to shame him into bringing Mario Kart back. That's going to happen again. Snowdub and I are resolute on this. We're going to get that Mario Kart back. But I should be over at Ord's World for these Sunday morning podcasts, so you can check me there. Everybody have an excellent weekend. Adios.
No. He's looking at you, kid.
Goodbye, Boo.
Kitty.
Kitty has to go.
I'll see you. Not if I see you first.
Hello.
Grandpa? Maybe you could come over and read it again to me tomorrow.
As you wish.